Hey guys, welcome back to Fantasy Tipped. My name is Julian, and for today's episode, we're continuing with our series of videos about each individual NHL team, and we're going to be talking about the fantasy overview of the Arizona Coyotes and their players. Before we get started, guys, please leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I would really appreciate it. The goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers this year. Without further ado, let's jump into the Coyotes lines that I foresee. I don't have Dvorak in these lines because he's supposedly going to be traded. If that changes, I'll let you know, but right now it looks like he's not going to be part of the team when the season begins. The lines that I predict are Keller, Schmaltz, and Kessel as the first line, and honestly, the rest of the lines don't even matter because they basically have no fantasy relevance at all. Second line, Zingle, Hutton, Yaskin. Third line, Kraus, Larson, and Fisher. And the fourth line, Roussel, Beagle, and Eriksson, because I thought it'd be fun to put a Canuck line together, and that could actually be their fourth line. On defense, they got Chychrun, Timmins, Gostisbehere, Lyubushkin, Strawman, Soderstrom. In nets, they got Carter Hutton and Joseph Koronash. Now, taking players from the Arizona Coyotes from the NHL's list of top 250 players in fantasy this year, the first player on this list is Jakob Chychrun, ranked 101st overall, or the 21st D. Last year, Chychrun had an awesome year with 41 points in 56 games, which would have been 60 points in a regular 82-game schedule, which is awesome for a defenseman. He was really great last year. He got 18 goals, but he had a 10.2 shooting percentage. So it's a little bit high for a defenseman, though his career numbers are 7.7% about. So, it wasn't too bad. I think he could actually have a pretty similar year this year and try to push for that 55-point mark. And honestly, he's being drafted around where Werenski and Klingberg are, and I actually would draft him above those guys unless you're in a pool where plus-minus really matters. And even then, his plus-minus last year was only -6 playing for the Arizona Coyotes. But they're going to be worse this year, I will grant you that. So if you're worried about plus-minus, maybe draft one of the other guys I just mentioned, but honestly, he makes for a pretty good pick at his range. The next player on this list, we have to go all the way down to number 214 for Phil Kessel, who had a pretty good year last year with scoring 20 goals and 43 points in 56 games, which would have been 63 points in 82 games. Seems like a pretty good year for Phil Kessel, but let's just hold on. He had a 17.4 shooting percentage, whereas his career numbers are 11.4. So those 20 goals would have actually been 13 in a regular Phil Kessel year. So he would have ended with 53 points and 13 goals in a full 82 season, which is not amazing. I mean, around his draft range, that's what you're going to be getting anyway. But personally, at that range, when you're going to be drafting in a pretty late round, like the 13th to 18th round, I'd go for someone with a little bit more upside, someone who's young, who might have a breakout year at that point, right? Next on the list is Nick Schmaltz at 243rd overall, and that's pretty late, right? He's a first-line player if these lines that I have are correct. So he could actually have a decent amount of value at 32 points in 52 games last year, which would have been about 50 points in a regular NHL season. He had 10 goals with a 9.5 shooting percentage, but his shooting percentage career is 12.3, so his numbers would go up a little bit. And if you adjust everything to a full 82-game season, he would have gotten about 20.5 goals and 55 points in 82 games, which honestly is better than Phil Kessel's projected numbers. So if you're going really deep in the draft and Nick Schmaltz is there, he's a pretty safe option. Now, there is nobody else on NHL's 250 best ranked players on Arizona because Arizona is a crappy team. They're going to have terrible plus-minuses, and honestly, they're not going to be a good team this year. But I've identified a few guys that I think could possibly be decent waiver wire pickups or very late draft picks if you're in an insanely deep league. Clayton Keller, he's probably also going to be on that first line. Yeah, he's probably going to have very similar numbers to Schmaltz, so he's someone that could be considered as well. Shayne Gostisbehere. Arizona's power play could potentially be Keller, Schmaltz, Kessel, Chychrun, Gostisbehere. If he's on that top power play, suddenly Gostisbehere actually has a decent amount of value. That's the only thing he's good at is power play. So if he's getting power play time, and he's probably going to produce. So I don't mind Gostisbehere as a risky pick late in the draft. The other guys who I'd consider a little bit if you're really desperate and for some reason you haven't drafted a goalie really late in the draft, well, Carter Hutton is ranked 39 plus. Like, he's not even in their list. There's 38 goalies in NHL's list, and he didn't make the list. So Carter Hutton should actually get the vast majority of the starts, because Coronash, I'm not sure how much he's going to play, maybe 25%. I'm not really sure, but I think Hutton's going to get the vast majority of the starts, assuming he plays decently. And he should get an okay amount of wins. I mean, nothing special, because Arizona is going to be one of the worst teams. But if you need a third goalie, you want to take a chance on Carter Hutton, I don't absolutely hate that. And that's it for this video, guys. There's not a whole lot to say about the Arizona Coyotes. They're not going to be a great team this year, and I probably wouldn't really draft anyone from that team except for maybe Jacob Chychrun, and probably stay away from almost everyone in plus-minus leagues where that really affects your scoring. So that's it, guys, for this video. Thank you so much for watching all the way through. Leave a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. It really, really would mean the world to me. You guys can leave a comment down below. Let me know if you enjoyed the video. Until next time, guys, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll catch you in the next episode of Fantasy Tipped.